What's up, guys? For several weeks now I've been promising you guys a build video on this CL1 Vanny Style Edition rotor drone that I built. It's got 12mm thick arms, and it weighs like just a little over 600 grams with this 6S 1300 lipo. Anyway, this is what I call the ultimate indestructible 3D FPV acro quad. I have crashed the crap out of this thing, guys. You just can't break it. And because it's so lightweight, it flies phenomenal with these 1950 kV 6S motors on here. So let me show you with it on the scales, guys. Here's my scales. Set the quad on there. 624 grams. 624 grams. Fully built, guys. Ready to fly. So I've put it off long enough, so here's the build video, guys. This is me completely building the drone. Sorry about the shaking, guys. This is me completely building this drone step by step and everything that I used to build it. So you can follow along, look up the parts, build it yourself, and have the exact same quad I've got. And I mean, literally, guys, I've crashed this thing so hard I've buried the arm plumb up to the frame in the dirt like that, and nothing broke. Not a thing. Oh, and I forgot to mention, guys, all the videos, all the flight videos that you've seen of me flying outside the last few weeks have been with this drone. So this is, like I say, I've been flying this one non-stop because it flies so damn good.
Long live the king, only one to rule them all. It might cost us everything, but when the ash and dust are ghost, only one to rule them all. It might cost us everything, but when the ash and dust are ghost. Do you feel the awakening, all the energy? Could you rise above it? On the road and it's taking me to a reckoning. Yeah, the storm is coming. Only one to rule them all. It might cost us everything, but when the ash and dust are ghost, long live the king.
Do you want a quad that'll fly like that and be almost indestructible? Well, follow along with me and I'll show you how. The first thing you're going to need is a quad that's almost indestructible. So get you a something like this. I went with the Rotor Riot CL1 Vanny Style Edition frame, and I bought double arms and double the arms up on it, so they're about 12mm thick now. So this frame, you can crash it all day long and not have to worry about breaking it, because if you're flying like I was just showing you, you're probably going to be doing some crashing. This frame weighs 173 grams the way I've got it set up here. The next thing you probably want to go with is a good VTX and camera. I would suggest going with the Vista unit. You get good long range with this thing, and it's almost indestructible. So, and it'll fit right in this quad. You're going to want to get you a lost model alarm buzzer, and you're going to want to get you some kind of receiver. I'm going with the Crossfire, Nano Crossfire here. And then for the drivetrain, you want to get some MEPS parts. Go all MEPS with it if you want good quality parts, something that's going to hold up to a lot of crashes and not break. Let me get all this pulled out here and I'll show you. Alright, for the drivetrain, you're going to want to go with something, some really good parts like MEPS parts. So I'm using a MEPS Mini HD flight controller and a MEPS 45 amp Mini ESC. This is a F7 flight controller and a 45 amp ESC. And for the motors, we're going with the MEPS Space 2207 1950 kV motors for 6S. I believe these are cayenne blue. And then for the props, we're running MEPS King props. I have got the SZ5145 props here in yellow, and I have got the SZ5145 props in smoke color. We will be testing all that out on this quad right here. Okay guys, here is the complete drivetrain we're going to be putting in this quad. All the drivetrain here is MEPS stuff. This is MEPS motors, MEPS flight controller, and MEPS ESC. This is a 45 amp ESC. Now guys, I'm not going to go over all the specs on all this stuff because I have done it several times in the past on my past videos. And I'll just say this. MEPS is some of the best parts out there. If you want a quad that you can crash over and over and over in turtle mode and do 3D mode on, it does 3D better than any ESC that I have tried so far. And this is from my own experience. I've built several of these MEPS quads now, and I just can't be happier with the stuff. So all I'm going to say is this is a 45 amp ESC, and that is as big as you need to go with, unless you're going to go with a 7-inch build like long range. Then go with their 60 amp ESC. But if you're just building a 5-inch quad, their 45 amp is plenty big enough. I have not messed one up yet, and I have built several, and I fly hard. This is a F7 MEPS flight controller HD edition. Okay, that's what we're going to be putting in there. This thing is amazing. You can run RPM filtering and all that on this stuff. And their motors we're going with is the Cayenne Blue MEPS SZ2207 1950 kV motors. These are some great motors for 6S, and they will work pretty nice on 4S. You can get really long run times on 4S with them, but I like 6S on them, and they're the perfect kV for that. These motors are very smooth, very quiet, and they're pretty efficient. I mean, they have plenty of power, but I do get longer run times with these motors than I do with other motors. Alright guys, that's what we're putting in there. Alrighty guys, the first thing you're going to want to do is tin up all your pads. So let's get that started. Alright, that got the ESC. Now the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to solder up the buzzer minus pad, the 5-volt pad, and the ground pad. And then we're going to need, for the receiver, we're going to need over here, we're going to need the T5 and R5. And we're going to need the ground and 5 volts. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to do is to hook up your power wire. So the ground will go over here. And the hot to go over here. Alright guys, the next thing you want to do after you get the ESC and flight controller tinned up like you want it, before you stick that on, you need to go ahead and put your motors on. And if you're building one like this and doubling the arms up, then you're going to need a lot longer motor screws. These are M3 by 16. So that's what you need, M3 by 16 screws. And I like to use these kind of screws here. And you're going to need 16 of them. Okay guys, once you get your motors on, you should have something looking like this. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is just go ahead and put your ESC on there. Put it on like you was normally going to run it. Now we want to run our camera up through the wires here, because I'm going to run it between the ESC and the flight controller. So we'll get that up there. Just slip our flight controller on, and we're going to do it this way just until we can get our wires the right length, and then we'll remove the flight controller and solder the wires on. So let me get that done. Once you have your wires cut to length, you can start soldering them on. When you're done, you should end up with something that looks like that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do, our ESC is done. So now we just need to plug in our flight controller. And then mount it on here. Now the next thing we need to do is wire up our receiver. Alright guys, you wire your receiver up right here. You've got a R5, you've got a T5, a R5, ground, and a 5 volt. So your black wire goes from your receiver, the black wire goes to ground, the red wire goes to the 5 volt, your green wire goes to the TX, and your blue wire goes to the RX. And that should wire up your crossfire receiver. Alrighty guys, on your lost model alarm here, you'll have a yellow wire, a red wire, and a black wire. The yellow wire goes to buzzer minus right there on the flight controller. The red wire goes to 5 volt, and the black wire goes to ground. And that will make your lost model alarm work. Now the only thing left to do is to plug in the Vista unit, and it just plugs in right here. And off your Vista unit, you'll have a red wire, a black wire, a yellow wire, and a blue wire. And that's the only 4 you really need to hook up. Your red wire will go to the 10 volt pad or plug here. The black wire will go to the ground. The yellow is a RX wire. It goes to the T1. And the blue is a it's a TX pad, wire, and it goes to the R1. You have to cross them. Okay, we've got it all built, so the next thing to do is to put a smoke stopper on it and try it out and make sure it's going to work. Alright, it appears to. Alrighty guys, here it is completely built, and let's weigh it. This is the 4S 1300 battery. I don't have a 6S down here. It weighs 605 grams, completely ready to fly. Okay, 605 grams, that's not bad at all, seeing as how this is a double frame and all. And it's a real compact drone. It ought to fly really well, and it's built like a tank. I mean, you'll be able to crash this thing all day long, over and over and over, and not have to worry about breaking it. And the parts that I use in it, with those MEPS parts and stuff, you won't have to worry about them going bad or MOSFETs popping or anything like that from turtle molding and whatnot. These things can take it. Alright, let's plug her up and see if everything spins like it's supposed to. So there you go, she works. And I do have it in 3D mode. I guess the only thing left to do is to go out and test it. She looks pretty, very pretty. Turned out sweet. I can't wait to try it out. It ought to fly amazing. Okay guys, this is me from the future. I've already flown many packs on this thing. It flies great on 4S, but the raw power these motors have on 6S is just astonishing. Holy moly. It blew my mind. I mean, it's just instant power. Instant power I'm talking about. This is got to be the fastest quad I have now. It will get up and go just instantly. It flies amazing. You'll see, guys. I can't recommend this stuff enough. These MEPS parts, they're the best you can get. And these motors are, I mean, they're top of the line, buddy. All right, here's the video. Here's the flight videos. I hope you enjoy.
Did you get what you wanted? Spain is coming off the tracks now. Do you see where we're running? Cause we ain't ever going back now. Open the door, see the floods washing. When it rains it pours. Got a front row seat, watch the end begin. Do you feel the awakening? All the energy, could you rise above it? On the road and it's taking me to a reckoning. Yeah, the storm is coming. Only one to rule them all. It might cost us everything, but when the ash and dust to go, long live the king. Are you still a believer? This is out of our control now. Dig ourselves a little deeper. Know there never was a way out. Open the door, see the fire burn down, but we wanted more. Got a front row seat, best show in town. Do you feel it now? Do you feel the awakening? All the energy, could you rise above it? On the road and it's taking me to a reckoning. Yeah, the storm is coming. Only one to rule them all. It might cost us everything, but when the ash and dust to go, long live the king. Long live the king. Long live the king. Only one to rule them all. It might cost us everything,